audience, what do they see? And they say, well, I see you stretching your arm to the wall. Whoa, okay, I don't get it. But what do you see? Well, I'll tell you what I see. This is my distance that I have left. As I look back, that's where I come from. When I'm speaking to young, I let them know, all right, this is where you are, and that's where you need to go. The question is, will you get there? Will you get there healthy? Because, see, people pay a price. People pay a price for this white hair. Don't think you get this white hair. And I ask, and people actually come out and ask me, do I dye my hair white? I let them know I don't have no reason to dye it white, because I'm proud of it. I paid the price for this. And I see some white heads in here. You paid the price for that. Now, ma'am, I'm going to get in trouble, but some of them decided, well, you know what, I still want to look young. Let me get rid of it. Let me go bald. But there's a price that we pay for this thing called white hair, gray hair. So while we got this white hair, gray hair, turn it around so we can go educate those blackheads. And I hear people constantly saying that I don't know what's wrong with this generation. This generation is coming up behind me. I don't know what's wrong with them. They don't listen, blase, blase, blase. But in the midst, they might not listen, but it's up to us to stand in the gap. Because how many of you all ever been to the beach? All right? How many of you all ever picked up a seashell and you throw it back in? As soon as you throw it back in, when the waves come, what do you see? It comes right back at you. Well, the moral of that story is we can't throw our kids away. Because the more we throw them away, the more they're going to come back at us. And when they come back at us, they're going to come back with more hate. They're going to come back with more murdering intentions. So it's up to us to turn the tide, to reach that hand and say, let me educate you. How many of you are old? I'm sorry, Miss Diane. I got to ask the question. All right? How many of you all ever been young? My man! As a matter of fact, I remember you. We used to hang out together. Yes. All right? We all have been young, and how many of you all ever had the attitude of, they don't know what they're talking about? How many of you ever had that attitude? But it didn't cling in until you got maybe in your 30s and you started realizing, oh wow, they did know what they were talking about. Because it was the old folks that helped us get to where we are today. It was, sir? It was those who marched on the front line. It was those on that Black Sunday who got a bomb storm, all right, with the horses, with the billy sticks, who paved the way for us to be where we are today. It wasn't easy. They fought a good fight for us to get here. So what we must do, re-give, we got to stand up and fight the good fight for our youngins to be sitting in our spot one given day. That's the power of being a winner. Can everybody repeat after me? I have the power of being that winner.
I have the power of being that winner.
I was born to be that winner.
That winner.
With me, being the winner, I shall achieve every aspect, every goal, moving forward. Not for myself, but for those that are coming behind me. Now give yourself a round of applause. If you all don't mind, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to pat myself on the back for a second. You don't mind if I do that? And the reason I'm doing that because I've come through so much pain, agony, and yes, defeat. To the point that, ma'am, I wanted to give up. Ma'am, before I was 21, I even tried to commit suicide on several accounts. Because I was so upset, disgusted, and painful at all the things, negativity that was being poured into me. You ever pour milk in a cup, and excuse me, I'm starting to get a little emotional, but you ever pour milk in a cup and that milk starts to run over? And you ever say this, oh man, I got to pay more attention to what I'm doing. Anybody, yes? Well, my cup was pouring over with all that negativity. As a matter of fact, this young lady that's standing up right there with the red top on, that's my god sister Sonora. Her beautiful mother, Miss Liz Turner, in the Bronx, New York, knew what I was going through. And I ran from a beating that my dad was putting on me. And I ran to their house. And her mother was attempting to beat my dad down. And that's how we became family. And we lost contact with each other, but we found each other again in 2009. Her mother had passed. And she told me that her mother said upon her dying, they haven't seen me in years, they don't even know if I'm still living. But on her mother's deathbed, ma'am, she said, make sure you find Junior. I know he's still living, but find him. And when we reconnected, that was the most glowing moment of my 2000s. You never know when you're going through the pain and agony who is directly in your corner and who is the big booster of seeing you fall into the realm of ultimate success. This word that is floating in my mind as I share this with you is D-R-I-V-E-N. Driven. All that a brother been through, I got all the reasons, as I said beforehand, to quit. But every morning God wakes me up. I say, Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for letting me see this age of 63. Now let me go and drive. Not drive a car, not drive an SUV, not drive a plane, not drive a ship, but let me drive forth. Who can I help next? When I tell people that I've written 14 books, you wrote how many? See, people, I know there's somebody in here have been told, for a lesser word, somebody have been told that, you know what, get out my face, you ain't nothing but a fool. Somebody been told, and you're an educated scholar. As a matter of fact, I was telling my sister here when I told her that I was going to do something to her daughter. All right, they were smiling, and then when I did it, she said, okay. And then I told her, I'm like Frederick Douglass. They told Frederick Douglass not to be comedic in front of people because they wouldn't understand. But Frederick Douglass had a tendency of spitting out dry jokes. Well, that's me. I've been told idiotic. I've been called a fool. I've been told you're never going anywhere because you're a clown. And I'll be honest with you, yes, I was a class clown. I got left back in the first grade. I got expelled in the third grade. I got expelled in the sixth grade. I got expelled in the seventh grade. And at the 12th grade, I quit. But hold on, wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you, yes, I am educated with a high school diploma and a college degree. So don't get it twisted. But the moral of the story is, I'm not where I was because I'm standing here, and if God wake me up tomorrow, I ain't finished because I'm still trying to get there. Amen. Some of us, we have an epiphany, and then we quit. Instead of using that epiphany to use it to take you to the next higher goal. But going back, the 14 books that I wrote, and I still got people saying that, ma'am, I'm nothing but a buffoon. It's a beautiful thing when you can pack up that S on your chest and still fly, even though they try to throw what at you? Kryptonite. And everybody in here got a Superman, Superwoman version within themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let the kryptonite attempt to stop you from your height of flying. Because even everybody in here is an eagle. You are an eagle. Repeat after me. I am an eagle. Eagles don't hang out with crows. Crows hang out in dumpsters. Eagles hang out at the peak of the highest height. Everybody repeat after me. I'm an eagle. When you get in an airplane to go up on a rainy day, so far up, once you get past those clouds, you see nothing but daylight. You see nothing but clear. You see nothing but what? Blue skies. I am an eagle. Repeat after me. I am an eagle. An eagle attacks his food while it's still living. A crow in the dumpster looking for dead food. I want live food. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure the food that you eat, and sir, I'm not talking about the food that you eat. I'm talking about the food that you eat. The food that you eat, make sure it is nutritionally alive. I am eagle. Continue as you be that power of a winner to be driven, even when your body, even when your mind says different. How many of you all got your body that says, no, I don't think I'm going to make it today? That's when you have to fight against the odds. I see my brother right here. You know what he's doing? I'm going to snitch on you. All right? You know what he's sitting over here doing? He's rubbing his knees. I got 2 braces on my knees. Sometimes I feel like Fred Sanford sometimes when I'm walking because my knees be hurting so bad. You can call me a big dummy, but I don't care. But I'm going to keep striving as long as these legs can get me. I'm moving forward. I used to run marathons around the country. Forrest Gump ain't got nothing on me. Run, Donald, run! And now I'm paying that big price right now. But just as long as God allowed me to open these eyes up in the morning, sir, you better believe I'm going to be driven. I have a death day, y'all. I don't know about y'all. I've come to terms that I do have a death day. That means where they're going to have me laying out in front of the church. That means that before the coffin opens or after the coffin opens, the pastor's going to tell everybody to come up and see the remains. Well, I'm going to let you know because I'm so driven. While I'm laying there, I might decide to lift up and say, hey, how's everybody going? Somebody will say that man was crazy living and he's crazy going out. But I'm driven. As a matter of fact, when I talk to the kids in my sessions, you know what I tell them? And I hope you don't mind me sharing. I said, I've already planned my funeral. I've already paid for my funeral. Wilson Funeral Home is going to have my body. And some of the kids are like, you paid for your funeral? Yeah. But then I tell them how I paid for it. I told them that when I went in there and I started talking to the funeral director, I said, I do not want flowers near my coffin. Don't bring flowers to my coffin. That's passé. I said, when you got me laying, I don't want to be laying here like this. That's passé. They said, well, Mr. Dowridge, how you want to be laid? I said, okay, first of all, because I love Oreo cookies and I love chocolate chips, I want 1, 2, 3 large prototypes right here at the foot of chocolate chip cookies. Nestle's. At the head, I want 1, 2, 3 prototypes, large, of Oreo cookies. Nestle's. While I'm laying there, I want my mouth open, such as, and I want cookie crumbs on my tongue. I want a bag of Oreo cookies laying on my chest. I want the Oreos open, and I want 1 cookie missing. That 1 cookie gonna be in my hand. So I'm gonna be laying here like this. And that cookie in my hand gonna look like I bit off it because the crumbs are gonna be on my tongue. The funeral director looking at me and said, for real? I said, yes. And on top of that, he said, well, what's going on here? I said, I'll tell you. When people come by and they look at me, they're going to say, so everybody can see me, they're going to say, Mr. Dowridge, oh man, we love you. So, you know, you're always going to have 1 slick one. He's going to look around and he's going to be like, and as soon as he go to pull that cookie up, I'm just going to rise up, get your hand off my cookie. I know the house will be clean. But while everybody leaves, I will sit up and start eating my cookies. So as I bring it down, all right, I talked about certain different aspects. The power of being a winner. I talked about driven. Be driven. I talked about reaching your goals. I must also mention in closing that it's not over until it's over. I was listening to a brother this morning on YouTube when he said that, we all want to die. But in our death, the story is, how long will you last? So it will be determined what you do while you're living, how long you're going to last once you die. You want to know something crazy? We all know about Michael Jackson. 2009, June 26. When I ask young kids and I say, have you ever heard of Michael Jackson? You know what they say? Who is Michael Jackson? And I say to myself, wow, we don't came that far that they don't know who Michael Jackson is? So that go to show you, whatever you do in this life, and if you want your legacy to carry on, make sure you do something that is so outstanding that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10,000 years from now, they're still talking about you. And it's not about egotistical, it's just about what you put out into the atmosphere. Because each one of you all are what? Eagles. Please repeat after me, I am an eagle. I will fly high. Every day that God come by. Excuses shall not be in my life. I will pass this on so that generations after will know how to fly. Now somebody will get mad at me, but that's okay. Because you know what? I believe I can fly. I ain't talking about the artist that sung it. I'm talking about the song, I Can Fly. So ladies and gentlemen, as I close down, I want to say thank you all very much for allowing me to be your guest speaker this morning. Special kudos, if you will, to Miss Diane Johnson for allowing me this opportunity. And her awesome husband for this opportunity. And if you will, please come back and visit me at the table back there. I do have The Power of Being a Winner, my 13th #1 book. And on my birthday, 63rd birthday, November the 28th, Thanksgiving Day, my 14th book, Motivational Moments, debuted. How thanks and giving is that? Amen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 11:45. We're going to spend about another 30 minutes here before you are allowed to. I say allowed, you can get up and walk out anytime. You're allowed to go ahead and get back on your Saturday schedule. We appreciate your coming to the Hungry Club Forum this morning. God bless you for that. Mr. Dowridge,
yes, ma'am.
We'd like to take this opportunity to open up and allow the audience to pose any questions or make any comments that they may have to you directly. Okay, and if you will raise your hand, I will write your name down in case we have a number of questions, or you may ask Ms. Lowe for a card and write. So are there questions? Reverend Brown.
I just wanted to thank you for that, that's all. I want to thank you for that, and I want to say, great job.
Thank you, sir. I bow to you, sir. It's an honor and I'm humbled. And as a matter of fact, I'm looking for the young lady, and forgive me for my short change. I'm only three months into 63, so forgive me if I start forgetting. But the young lady who I spoke to earlier, I bowed to her. I bowed. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I was a thug at one time. I was a gangster. But when I started reading about the Japanese custom, oh, there she is. Back in the year 1549, the Japanese men began a custom that is still valid today. The men, when they approach a lady, they take their hat off and they bow. And when I first read the story about that, I said, that's what I want to be. I want to be a gentleman. So if I don't have a hat on, I bow. Because it is an honor to be in front of those who are in front of me. It may be different reasons why I bow to them. And that's another reason, as famous as I am, as bad as I am, as awesome as I am, it's always good to be humble among mankind. We need more of that today. I just want to share it. And thank you for patting me on the
Mr.
back.
Nato?
Would you honor us with an interpretation of one of the major speeches of Frederick Douglass? Or any speech like that?
No. I have your ticket for Thursday night. Sir, Mr. Nadelman,
Yes.
I have your ticket for Thursday night.
Oh, good, thank you.
And I will share, I promise you, I will share
Look
one
on the
of his
back of
speeches.
your program, look on the
Okay.
back of your programs, and, do you have programs? You do not have programs? Some people have programs. Okay. Okay, are we out of programs?
You want one of these? Here.
I got it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we're going with, I saw another hand up. All right, Mr. Wright, followed by Dr. Hall.
I just wanted to tell you, the expressions of support by Charles Wright and the 103rd Watts Street Band.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I was in New York when that came out too.
Also NWA did a version of
Chuck D. Okay. Go ahead.
Is have you ever considered writing a book for children that depicts your childhood to reach children that may have maybe going through a similar situation that you went through at the time?
Honestly, no, I haven't. And I'm just being real, but you know, sparked out of here. Yes. And I believe, as you believe, because you only asked me that question because you believe it will be a bestseller.
Yes, I'm an early childhood education major, and I'm on the school board, and I'm a child educator for 32 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Children of years, and so many young boys and girls are going through what you went through. And it's just good to have a book that fits your life, that can show them that they can, that they are able to. It's something to think about.
Yes, ma'am. And sir, I
Doc-
know this is your
excuse me,
handsome
Dr. Deidre,
husband, but I
we
would
want
be
to
willing to
see
work
you,
with y'all to make
excuse
this
me,
come.
we want to see you at the Black History Month Dinner Theater on Thursday, where Mr. Dowridge, if you have a program by now, Mr. Dowridge will be performing his nationally acclaimed reenactment of Frederick Douglass. Mr. Politis has a program for you, and if you need a ticket, Natalie here has tickets. She has a table, so.
Okay. I'll make sure myself and my husband are there.
Okay, super. We want to see you. It's a dinner theater in the banquet room of the Con Ed building. So we won't keep you all night, but we have Mr. Dowridge is Act 1 as Frederick Douglass, and Act 2 is J.C. Falk, who some of you know as Jason Franklin. He's a native Savannian. His mother was our beloved, the late Principal Marilyn Franklin, and his daddy, Chatham County Police Officer James Franklin, is sitting in front of me. So we're going to have some Frederick Douglass for the history. We're going to have some good jazz entertainment and comedy from Jason Franklin. And we have a superb caterer who is today in Paris, but will be back in time to serve on Thursday. So you'll be there, have a good time. It's open for youth and adults. So I'm inviting you to come. I have tickets. Ms. Wright has tickets on the table. All right, sorry for that interruption, but you know, America, you got to do a commercial sometimes.
Gotta throw that PSA in there.
Okay? Were those the last of the questions and comments? Well, without further ado, Mr. Dowridge, we appreciate your presentation. Thank you, and be adjourned.
Can I leave all these I told you all that I am a performer, not just Frederick Douglass, but I want to share, I am a diehard Temptation, so I just want to share something with you. Well, I guess you say what can make me feel this way. You all talking about